Alright, we're getting into a lot of the little extraneous things right here. All the little details, right? There is a lot to this stuff. So, anything from black electrical tape, you want to get black electrical tape that has kind of a dullness to it. You don't want any kind of shiny electrical tape. You want the kind of dull looking black, right? Now this is a UL stuff, and believe it or not, it says made in Taiwan in there. I can't believe that. Anyway, Taiwan's better than China. At least Taiwan is not a third world country, guys, by the way. They got some technology over there. So and they are our allies, believe it or not. Even though it's just a little postage stamp country, they are our allies. And as a matter of fact, right now there are special forces there. There are some special forces people there right now because of everything that's going on with China. That is another subject for you to delve into yourself. So let's get into the details. Now that I've got this pouch dyed a suitable color other than multi-scam MTP, we're going to get into some of the little things here. So when you make up your belt kit and you make up all of your equipment in general, you got a couple of mindsets on this. You got a couple of mindsets. One mindset is that the only thing that you can particularly think about yourself is doing this as economically as possible because you do not have a lot of money to burn on equipment. Okay? So, because there is so much stuff, guys. I've been very fortunate that many of the things that I have, I did not buy them. Okay? I'm being upfront with you about that. Handed to me, issued to me, and so on. Right? Now, that mindset of I have to be thrifty with my money, and I have to be able to buy what I can afford. Here's the thing. With the Minuteman, we got to look at two things. The Minuteman, and we got to look at the regulars. The irregulars and the regulars. The regular is going to be like your government-backed soldier, okay? And the irregulars are going to be your guerrilla warfare Minuteman types, okay? Now, in the eyes and the minds of third world country people, in the eyes, when they see someone who is a soldier, and in their mind, they're very perceptive, okay, of a third world country person is very perceptive of image. They got this image, they see you, and they're going to decide how much respect that they are going to give you as a soldier based on your image, believe it or not. So if you look like you are very squared away, you are very professional, they will generally take you more seriously than if you look like a ragtag outfit. That's from a third world country person's perspective. Okay? Now, being in the United States or being in any other first world country, don't really have to think about that too much. So we're talking about the Minuteman, right? So that's why It's not a fashion show. You got to do what works and what blends and what's going to keep you alive and get through the situation at hand, right? So if your pockets are not exactly uniform, you know, and nothing is particularly matching, but it all blends in real well with whatever you're trying to blend in with, then you're good. If I'm in the weeds, they're not going to know I'm there. That's just the fact. They're not going to know I'm there. I'm a sneaky guy. I can get very close without anybody even knowing I'm there. So the thing is that as a Minuteman, my number one thought is to be invisible. Okay, you got to be a ninja. Because you are never going to overcome a large regular force with you and your small group of buddies. You're not. Because they have the firepower and you don't. They have the light machine guns. They have the heavy machine guns. They have the armored vehicles. Minuteman is going to be a harassing force. It's going to be hit and run type tactics. Okay? You're going to be looking at taking out their infrastructure. Okay? Things like that. You're going to harass them to no end. You're going to be making them look over their shoulders all the time because they don't know where you are or what you're up to. Okay? This is what the Minuteman does. The Minuteman is a ghost. And the Minuteman is the worst nightmare of the regular. And that is what you have to be. You have to be a total sneak. You have to be able to quietly move. You have to maintain silence all the time. You got to silence your equipment. We're going to go over that too. We're going to go over silencing your equipment. This little bit of black electrical tape will be helping you. This is your friend. Okay? And then we're going to talk about buckles. And we're going to talk about paracord. And we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff like that. Now, I made these the other day. I talked about them and I lost them, right? I made these little things out of inner tubes and I lost them. So, and how did I lose them? Well, I stuck them over at the end of the bed. Somehow they got knocked off and kicked under the bed. I had no idea where they were. And what is this? So you buy yourself some inner tubes. Okay, this 26-inch mountain bike inner tube. I bought a box of 4. I took one out and I cut some stuff up. I cut it up because I got to use that material, right? I can't just leave it intact. I'm not going to use it in a bicycle. So what am I going to use this for? I threw this on the sewing machine and I made a box stitch. And I'm going to give you measurements so you can make these yourself, alright? I'm going to give you certain measurements and then you can adjust them accordingly to your arm size, right? So what is this for? These little armbands are to be able to put vegetation on the outsides of my arms so that I can blend in even better when I'm sneaking about, alright? So I'm going to give you the measurements here in a few minutes. Well, in a couple minutes. But first I'm going to show you how to put this on. So you just grab your shirt sleeve, your blouse sleeve, and you hold it just like that. And I want this just above my elbow and below my bicep. So you're going to say, how the heck are you going to get that on? That's going to be like, it's going to be all twisted up, blah, blah, blah. No. That's why I'm here to help you. So you stick this on over the top of there, and you see that? I take 2 fingers and I just start rolling it up my arm just like that. And now it's on. It's on just over my elbow. It's on. Now I can put bits, and if you're in a team of guys, 2 or more, you can help each other veg up. Put vegetation in there, right? You don't want it to where it hinders anything else, like playing with your bang stick here, right? You don't want anything that hinders this area. You don't want it too vegged up because you're going to be dragging through some brush. But you want just enough local vegetation, right? Don't grab vegetation down the road and put it on and expect it to work up here. You're going to have to change your vegetation out here and there depending on where you're at. Alright, so I got 1 for each of my arms. Here's some old gloves. Probably ought to dye those. I've got other gloves too. I mean, I got long aviators, you know, things like that, but it's good to have just a little set like that. So my arm, just over the elbow, between the bicep and the elbow, it's 13 inches. Okay, so write that down because you're going to need this number. That my arm there at that point is 13 inches, right? So I made this strap 15 inches long. Piece of rubber, it's 1.5 inches wide. Piece of that inner tube, it's 1.5 inches wide. You're going to cut it with some nice shears like these Milwaukee's here, right? 1.5 inches wide. And what you're going to do is you get that 15 inches, right? And you mark back 1.5 inches. Draw you a line with the marker. 1.5 inches back from the end. And then you're going to take that where that mark is and you're going to lay that over, and then you're going to mark right there where it intersects on the other inner tube, the other side of that inner tube. And that is going to give you the area where you want to put the box stitch, right? So remember that 15 inches long and that 1.5 inches wide, and then you're going to have 1.5 inches overlap on one side, and then you need 1.5 inches on the other side, right? So that's, yeah. Do you follow me? If you don't, email me. Now, you're going to put that box stitch. Now, why do you need this 13 inches? Let's say you measure your arm there and it's 15 inches. You've been lifting some weights, right? Then you got 15 inches instead of 13. So my overall length is 15 inches here on my strap that I started with. So that means if you're 2 inches bigger in that area than me, you're 15 inches rather than 13. So you add 2 inches to this overall length, which will give you 17 inches overall length. And then you're still going to measure back 1.5 inches. Alright, put that on that line. Quiet. Put that on that line. Lay it down. Put another mark there. These marks are just so that you could remember where to line it up in case you get, messing around and you lose your spot, right? Anyway, so it's still 1.5 inches overlap. Alright, so that's the way you do that. Okay, I'm going to come back in another video. We're going to talk about some more stuff. I will see you there.